Hello, everybody. My name's Gold, and today I'll be talking about the brand new Byte by Night updates. So, in the brand new Byte by Night update, we got a couple crazy and cool things that I'm going to talk about. So, let's jump straight into it. The first thing we got was a brand new class known as Technician. We also got a new skin for Springtrap, a forest rework, and a brand new DSD system. Getting to the new class, Technician. Technician is a very weird survivor class that plays between like a blend of a survivalist looper with the aspects of a trapper. And I gotta say, it does really bad in both categories. Now, when the class was first revealed, everyone thought this was going to be kind of OP, or a lot of people thought it at the very least. And I was a bit skeptical because I thought the character looked cool, but there must have been some drawback to its insane ability. That being the Mixus mask, or Granny mask, whatever you want to call it, from Five Nights at Freddy's Ruin DLC from Security Breach. This mask allows the user, at least in Security Breach, to pretty much see like cool AR things and these weird purple wire mesh thingamabobs that you can use to solve puzzles and whatnot. In Byte by Night, it turns certain objects like barrels or crates or certain walls into the same type of purple wire mesh, and then you can phase through them. Which sounds like a really cool idea for a survivor. Imagine, you're running from a killer, there's a dead end, and the killer thinks he's got you, boom, face through wall, you can get away scot-free. The problem? It kind of sucks. There aren't nearly enough walls that allow you to really do any of this, and most of the objects you can phase through don't help you in chase. You could be running and be like, alright, I'm gonna phase through this barrel, and the killer just walks around the barrel and still catches up to you. You gain like a foot in distance. It's really not that helpful because you're only getting through minor objects that the killer can easily avoid. It's only good when you can go through something the killer can't avoid, like a wall. But like I said, there aren't a lot of walls to do this on. Forest has a couple walls you can phase through, especially by the like triple door section with like all the wood by the RV. You can phase through like all those walls, which albeit is kind of cool, but yet again the killer can kind of just walk through one of the doors and get you. It's only slightly helpful in that scenario. It's really good on Pizzeria because on the play area jungle gym thing, there are a lot of walls you can phase through. On the upper section, you can phase through one of the walls, and on the lower section, where sometimes there's a generator, you can just phase through that wall completely. So that leaves two phase spots you can get through, and there's another wall in front of the dead end spot with the generator. You can also phase through that wall. So you can loop the killer into this dead end, phase through a wall, phase through another wall, and then you just run away from him. Which is kind of helpful, but this is only one map out of 3. And like I said, Forest only really has the triple door area, and maybe a couple of barrels here and there. Warehouse does have one wall with like all the M2 Mimic chassis. You can phase through one of the walls, but yet again, there's a door right next to it, so it's like the killer's just gonna walk through the door and still get you anyways, along with the fact that the giant vault door thingamabob is now closed until 5 a.m. I don't know why they did this. I know this was intentionally supposed to like be closed constantly. There's this big old door. It's normally supposed to be closed. It just was like constantly bugged and now it's fixed. I don't like it. I think it should remain open. I think it's weird. But that's just a side tangent. Anyways, getting back to my main point. Overall, the mask just doesn't have a lot of value. You would think it'd be helpful, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really do much. It allows you to escape the killer on a few maps on specific spots, which you may or may not be. I'm not saying you should always be, you should always be able to paint through walls or juke out the killer constantly, but I feel like there should be a bit more opportunities to do so, because as of right now, it feels like it's very situational and very map dependent. Which, I've said this before, I really don't like it when games make stuff super map dependent. I'm fine with certain things, but it's like, hey, if you want to make a killer or class map dependent, that's fine. Do it when you have a bunch of guys that aren't map dependent. Because then it makes that class a bit more special and unique, because it's like, hey, this guy is kind of map dependent, but if you play him on these maps, he's pretty powerful. And so people might play him once or twice, or even try to optimize him on other maps where they're not. But Byte by Night is so early that making one survivor class extremely map dependent when there's only 5 classes total, including this brand new one, isn't a very smart idea. It's the same problem I have with characters like Mimic or Ennard, who felt very map dependent in a game where there's only 3 killers. Do that with like Mangle when there's like 5 killers, and then it's like, okay, maybe. Or maybe even like do it later on when you have like Nightmare Freddy or something. I don't know. But I think this class just plays a little map dependent, especially with the map and the mask gimmick. Now, if you notice, I'm talking a lot about the mask because that's generally what you're doing, and that's like your bread and butter. The Technician's little jammer thingy is like the most useless ability in the game. It's super mid and is really, really eh. What it does, it allows you to place down a little signal jammer. And if the killer steps on it, they become slowed, and I think like blinded. I think it's blinded. I don't know. The screen becomes blurry. As long as they're on top of the object. And the effects don't linger because they only last for 1 second, but they constantly refresh if you're on the object. Or they last, I think, forever, as long as you're on the object. So this means the moment you step off, the effects go away. They might linger for a second. I could be wrong. The problem is, one, they can destroy it using an M1 attack, which doesn't take much time or effort to really do. Two, it only slows, does not stun, and the blur isn't that impactful. If you've played Mario Kart before, it's the same energy as the freaking squid. Like, you can still see most of your screen, right? This thing isn't obscuring your entire vision. And so overall, it's like very not helpful. It's like, alright guys, I bait him to my trap. And then he just destroys it or calmly walks over it and then keeps chasing you. It's like it slows him for like a few seconds. It's like a minor nuisance. It's an inconvenience of anything. It's like picking up a piece of trash off the floor. It's like, oh no, I'm so inconvenienced. It's like, it's not a big deal. It really isn't. If it was like a stun, or if he walked over and it like blew up and stunned him, or like revealed his aura to everyone on the map, that would be a bit more impactful, because then it's like, oh shoot, now everyone knows where I am. They're going to be able to position my position away from me, or get away from me easier. Or it's like, oh shoot, I'm stunned, they can get away. No, it just slows him for like a couple seconds, and then he just keeps walking at you. It's not very helpful. It's the equivalent of Security Guard's taser, except worse, because at least the taser, while it does force you to stay a little close to animatronic, keeps him slowed for a lot longer, and also can blind him and give him like 20,000 different effects, right? It gives him like a billion issues. It's like, all right, your kidneys are gone now, you have liver failure, you can't move anymore. It's like, it does all that versus like a small little slow. It's like, eh. It's like Technician's whole like slow thing is the equivalent of a taser. It's just a worse taser. It really is. You can place it down, which is kind of helpful, and it lasts for a while. But like I said, it's easy to destroy. It's kind of obvious. It's cool looking, but it's kind of obvious. It's easy to destroy, and overall, it's just not very helpful. And my biggest problem is it doesn't combo at all with the mask. Let's think to all the other classes. What do they have in common? All their moves combo with another move the class holds. Think about it. The pizza combos with the soda because, one, you use the soda to get away. Let's say you're in a chase. You get hit, you pop soda. Let's say you pop your soda and you get hit while you're drinking it. Now you're super fast, you're on away. You eat pizza to recover the damage you took while you were using your soda. Or you use the pizza just to heal yourself after taking some hits because you were looping. But you loop around the killer, you might get hit here or there, and then you eat pizza. The pizza heals you so you can stay looping for longer, and the soda helps you loop when things become dire. Both moves combo well into a class that can distract the killer for long periods of time. It's custom. Security Guard, you can use your cameras to detect the killer so everyone knows, and you know. That way, oh shoot, I can see on the cams one of my buddies is being chased or the killer's coming his way. Let me warn him, and then move over there so I can tase the killer in case my buddy gets in a chase. These combo each other, and it works well for a support-based class. The stunner's parry combos directly into a stun because you have to parry in order to stun. And for medic, healing your teammates is helpful, and then healing yourself to keep yourself in the fight longer and your teammates in the fight longer. All these moves combo together. What do the mask and the freaking stun, the little jammer do? They don't do anything. So what? You're like, alright, I'll loop him into the trap? How does the mask really help you do that? It's like, what? Unless you're saying, oh yeah, I'll purposely place traps by the spots which I can loop by, then loop him by these spots, and then loop him into the trap. This means not only do you have to pretty much bait him into one specific section of the map, you're using your mask, and you're using both your cooldowns just to loop one dude in one specific spot on the map, which yet again, they may not even go over there. This forces them to go into a spot, which they could just ignore you at the end of the day, or just not go into the spot, or just destroy the jammer. Or the jammer could run out by the time you even bait them over to it. It doesn't combo very well. It really doesn't. You would think it's like, oh, well, what if you, like, deploy it for using mask because you're slow, but it buys you some time? That would make sense, but it takes too long to deploy. which, yet again, I say you have to have previously deployed it somewhere and then purposely bait them to that spot, which isn't impossible, it's just kind of hard to do and is very like 50-50, not consistent. And that's the problem. I'm not saying every class should be consistent, but I wish it was a bit more consistent, which just leads me to my issue with Technician. It doesn't feel like a very helpful class at all. It feels like you're trying to be a trapper or maybe just a looper, but you fail at doing both, and neither of the moves really combo together, so you just kind of fail as a class as a whole. You can kind of assist your team with the traps, but it doesn't help that much. I think it would have made much more sense for the mask to do something, and then instead of having the little jammer, maybe something else that helps you. Maybe you still have the same concept of jammer, but it's like a throwable object, or something you quickly deploy, like you just drop on the ground like a flashbang or something, versus it being a whole thing to set up. I think if they wanted to do something like Technician, you could have given the mask to a different class and then kept the jammer, but something else to combo with the jammer. Maybe you could have like a jammer and something else that like amps it or something, I don't know. But you could have done a bit more versus having a character with a cool mask and then this other ability that's really clunky and doesn't really fit well, in my opinion. But that's Technician. Overall, I think it's just kind of a weird class. I don't really think it's worth playing right now. It sucked on release. It's a little bit better now, but it's still kind of a mid-class. Moving on to more of the fun stuff, the new skin came out called the Pit Rabbit skin. It's really, really cool. It makes Springtrap look like the Pit Rabbit, or Into the Pit Bonnie, whatever the heck you want to call him, from the book Into the Pit. Crazy. I don't really know what he is, if I'm being real. As far as I understand, the Pit Rabbit is like kind of like Springtrap, or like William Afton's like evil, like Agony in Garden or something, I guess. I don't know. He's cool looking. I'll say that much. It's a really cool looking skin. He's got like the caution tape over him. He's got the cool like sharp teeth. He's very animalistic in this. He's got the cool axe, his eyes. He looks more like the older Spring Bonnie suit with the yellow coloring. Overall, it's a really cool skin. I think it's probably 10 10. I think it's probably on par with like Hoax and whatnot. Probably one of the best skins of the game though. So I like it a lot. I think it's cool. I like its design. I think the design from the game's translated very well into Pipe by Night. I think they did a great job with the skin. 10 out of 10. If Pipe by Night does one thing great, it is the skins. The skins are always phenomenal in this game. Now, moving on to the elephant in the room, or you could say in the forest. The forest rework. The forest rework sucks. If you thought forest was bad, it just got 1,000 times worse. I'm not going to go super in-depth about literally every single thing they changed, because I'm pretty sure somebody else already did that. But what I am going to say is, Forest was a map I had a lot of issues with, because it was really big, really wide. It had a lot of annoying loops to deal with as killer. It was super big, it was hard to catch up to anyone, and overall it just felt abysmal. So what if I told you they just amped up all those issues? Because they did. Now, a lot of areas was like, alright, Survivor, you've looped me for 50 times, but finally, you're at a dead end, and I placed a trap right by this entrance. It's over. Peace, bro. And then suddenly a door materialized behind them. Yep, that's right. They added doors to these spots. There was 2 areas, one with like the weird wood thing you could go up on, it was like this ramp, and the one right next to it, that was just a dead end area. Sometimes had a generator. They just connected the areas. I don't know why this wasn't originally a thing. It makes sense that they're connected, but it also just makes it a lot more annoying, because both dead-end spots that people like to loop at, or you can finally cut them off at, they can just loop. What this means is, someone could go from the edge. Someone could, let's say you're chasing someone. They go towards the exit. They turn right into this dead-end area. Oh, there's a door there now. They barricade the first door, run through the second run, run up the loop, jump down, barricade another door, and then keep running all the way to the little dividend area. It's like a little tunnel thing. Barricade that door. Keep running all the way. You see what I'm saying? There's just giant loops on this map now. You can go from the exit area all the way to another area, all the way to another. And it's like, oh, but Gold, aren't there loops like that in like a lot of games or on a lot of maps? Not really. Warehouse had some loops, but they weren't gargantuan size. They were like one small like L loop you could do that was very easily countable by placing a trap, or just catching up eventually, because they would run out of doors to barricade, or it was just a small enough loop to where you could pretty much catch up fairly easily after like the first barricade. They weren't as obnoxious, especially on like Warehouse and Pizzeria. On Forest, while there were a lot of annoying loops and it sucked, you could potentially win because you could get kills in the dead end areas by baiting people into them, or people would eventually walk in because it would be a generator. It'd force them to go into this dead end spot that would be risky. Now it's like, yeah, you still have to go there because there's a gen, but it's way less risky because there's 2 ways to exit now. So unless you chop like both ways, they're kind of able to just run away anyways. And overall, it just makes the killer's job 10 times harder, on top of the fact that this map already sucks for people like Ennard because it's way too big, and it's only really decent for Springtrap because it's traps, but now his traps are less effective because he only has 3 traps, and they just added in more exits to loop from. Mimic is the only guy that can kind of do stuff because of his speed and his drill. Even then, it still sucks for him when those abilities are on cooldown. So overall, the map that became a killer's worst nightmare just became a worst nightmare. It's the nightmare's nightmare, the bully's bully. This map is horrible. It's garbage. I hate this map. I don't know why they reworked it into being this. I would get a rework, but instead of being like, we're gonna rework it into being something fun. It's like, we're gonna rework it just to be even more survivor-sided. Like, why, dude? There's only 3 maps. So it's not like, oh, well, you know, if the game sucks, but at least there's some other... No, you're, like, gonna play this map pretty often because there's only 3 maps. You got a 1 in 3 chance to play the map. It sucks. I hate it. Overall, I think 4 sucks. I think it's a terrible rework. I don't know why they did this. I get reworking the map, but instead of reworking it to be a bit smaller or have less loops, they just added more loops to the map. Why? That's like the exact opposite of what people are asking for. I saw tons of people on like Reddit, on YouTube comments, on YouTube videos asking them, hey, maybe make it to be smaller or change this, and they did anything but that. They just made it easier for survivors to loot. So, and I see why people say this game's survivor-sided, because you just gave an easy dub to survivors. It's possible to win on this map because the VSD is horrible, which I'll get into right after this, but it still kind of sucks for a lot of other guys. And wrapping up with a brand new DSD, aka Decreased Stamina Drain system. It is by far kind of booty cheeks. Pretty much beforehand, the DSD system rewarded punching people. If I'm correct, it made it to where like after hitting someone, you had Decreased Stamina Drain. So you would hit someone and be able to chase them and then hit them, which people kind of were upset about because it's pretty much like once you get hit once, you're kind of cooked because they're just going to constantly run after you and hit you, and there's not much you can do about it. So the devs were like, okay, well, if punching someone makes it way easier to punch them again, then let's just make it to where punching someone doesn't give you DSD and something else does. And so they moved it to chases, kind of like Dead by Daylight. So now the longer you chase someone, the lower your DSD number goes. It starts out at 1 times, or 1x. There's 1. I don't know why it's 1, right? And the lower the number goes, it'll go from 1 to like 0.99, 0. And so on and so forth. The lower it is, the lower your the slower your stamina drains. And this number goes down the longer you're chasing someone. And when you hit someone, the number goes up. So you'd think, oh, okay, so pretty much the game wants you to chase people for longer because now it takes longer to get kills, because before you could kind of just rush down people. And that would make sense. Enter Mimic. This guy can chase people for a long time because of speed. Because in speed mode, he can catch up to people, anybody, with ease. The problem is his stamina would drain fairly quickly, and he would be Timmy Tickle time. Now, it's quite easy as Mimic. Go to speed mode, chase someone. Don't hit them, just chase them. Chase them until your number gets maybe like 60 or 50, switch to strength, punch them. Why does this work? Because around 50 to 60, maybe even lower than that, your stamina drain will be low enough to where you'll pretty much have double the amount of stamina. Let's say like, for every 1 second you're chasing the survivor, 5 of their stamina drains. But for every 1 second you're chasing the survivor, only like 1 of your stamina drains. So within 5 seconds, you've only lost 5 stamina, while they've lost like 25, 20, I don't know, can't count. But anyways, what this means is now as Mimic, you chase them for a while, you switch to strength, now you have ridiculously low stamina drain, and they still have the same amount of stamina, and you're just gonna be able to outrun them. Because while they can run faster than you can run farther than them. And endurance always beats speed. So you can just, once they're out of stamina, walk up to them and just punch them. And keep in mind, your stamina drain is still going lower and lower, so if you hit them, it's not even going to go back to max, it'll go back to like 40 or something, like 60. So you're going to be able to get like 1 or 2 hits off before you even get back to max stamina by doing this strategy. Albeit, is it like min-maxing, meta, super sweaty, oh, you're such a tryhard? Yeah, it is. But come on, guys, let's be real. Who isn't doing this? It's an ASIM. You know, for a matter of fact, people are going to be doing super sweaty, tryhard stuff. because that's just how the cookie crumbles. People want to win. So people are going to do try-hardy strategies. That's why people exploit. People want to win. So, and this isn't an exploit, by the way. This is just game mechanics. Um, so what this means is now as Mimic, you can just chase people for very long times and ignore most of the loops. For Springtrap, it kind of sucks because he doesn't have the same chase you for 5 years as Mimic. So it still kind of sucks, but his abilities make up for it. And I have not played that much of Ennard with the new DSD. Because I know he kind of sucked beforehand. I was honestly scared, but I don't think it really affects him that much. I played him a few times, mainly because if you're in Skin Suit, you have 100 stamina, and I forget if DSD still applies in Skin Suit, so if it does, that kind of sucks, but still, at the end of the day, you have the more stamina to compensate. It's not that big of a deal. It's only a big deal in animatronic form, which you're in fairly often, but I feel like Ennard is kind of A-okay in this. Like, it doesn't affect him too much. I think this kind of buffs Mimic, though. For more or less, this just is a Mimic buff. Just a majorly buffs Mimic without even having to give him more buffs. So on one side, my wish has been granted. Mimic is strong again. On the downside, he's not strong for the reasons. It's like, he's powerful because they implemented systems kind of broken, not because they actually made the character fun again. So once the system goes away, or gets reverted, Mimic will probably be sucky again. So that kind of sucks. But enjoy it while it lasts. Get your Mimic 20s while you can, guys. Level up to max quickly. But yeah, that's the new DSD system. It's kind of weird. I don't like it very much because, like I said, it just makes chasing people as Mimic really easy and Springtrap's job a little bit harder. And the new map especially sucks. But the new map's only tolerable if you play Mimic, so... Or the rework map. Anyways, that's all I've got to say for the day's video. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. What are your thoughts on the new DSD system? Do you guys like the new DSD system? Do you hate it? Do you not want to play Bite by Night anymore? I don't know. Let me know who you main, all that fun stuff. Make sure to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you want more Bite by Night content. And let me see some of your hottest takes you've got for Bite by Night, because I got a grand idea for another video. Ooh, vagueness. Anyways, that's all I've got to say for today's video. I'll see you on the next one. Bold out.